Please let me. 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 Please let me.
With the commish, Nate.
Would this fix the issue? That fixed the issue. I got to fix this. Okay, there's like a certain button that if you press it, they can't hear us at all, but they can hear us now. Welcome into Press Pass Live. I don't even know what we're doing right now. I got to get my head on straight here. We're back on a Friday. My buddy Maniac is about to hit the road and bring the babies back to college. They're not babies no more, but you get what I'm saying. His babies. And I'm about to go pick up the literal baby in my life and take her to dinner. She misses seeing her grandparents. We haven't seen her in a minute, so we're going to crank out a Press Pass Live really quick. Mr. Maniac, how is your Friday going, brother?
It's going pretty good, man.
A little Fortnite session before we got on.
Yeah, a little Fortnite session, with the kids. So,
who won?
We came in second.
Oh, okay. So, we just like group squad up?
Yeah, it's trios. We do the trios. So, actually, we've got a pretty good record. We finished in the top 5. Like, I don't know, it's like something like 50% of the time or more. So not bad for an old guy and a couple kids. So
I dig it. Well, let's jump into some games, my brother. I'm going to switch screens here really fast and we're going to get into it. Mr. Zambino, what up, buddy? If you guys don't know Zambino, pretty new to the community, but go get to know him. When he gets a team in the OMFL, he's going to fit right on in. Your kind of people, our kind of people. Go and meet him and introduce yourselves to him. Okay, let's talk about some games here. Now, some of these were played before the sort of swath of exits that we had, and that happens from time to time. Lost Sniper, I'm pretty sure, beat Pepper 21-17, and then Pepper immediately exited the league. It sucks. I get it. He's just sort of over Madden and the way that people sort of approach Madden. So I appreciate him giving it another shot. He stayed in the community. I hope that he finds some shooters that he wants to be involved in. It would be weird not to see the name New York Pepper around, and I sure hope, or Pepper New York. So I sure hope he sticks around. Mr. Randy, it says Bill in New York, he's back, but Mr. Randy played Byron, who's now the Steelers. Go ahead and try to keep up with this one. 24-15. Denbrew falls to Priest. 23-13. Denbrew is actually in town. He's here in my city. He and I are going to meet up on Saturday for brunch, and I'm going to get to meet his wife. So should be a good time there. Mr. Luca beat Tim 14-10. Man, poor Tim and his Lions having a little stuck in the mud moment here coming into season 118. Roger continues to stay red hot. He beats Joker 38-34 in Buddy Bowl 200. I'm pretty sure by now. Mr. Rod beats our buddy James 39-14. I always stumble because I look at the names. I'm trying to remember quickly the real name that's connected to it, and I always sort of have a mini stroke every single time. Birdman beats my Saints pretty handedly, much worse than what the score shows. 31-21. Maniac, you stay red hot. 31-10 over Mr. Bill. Kevin bounces back after a couple tough losses. 31-16 against Zoe. Thank you for the follow. Alush, what a great name. Appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with us. You're watching the OMFL, the world's oldest and longest online CFM. Big Hurt, man, he is a force to be reckoned with these Jacksonville Jaguars. 37-27 over Massimo. Meek Boy, and I even sent him a message. This is an impressive win because D-Money and these Rams are crazy good. 21-17 in that one. Excuse me, 38-28. Jay Bows upsets Trey. It's another team that's been really red hot here to start out season 118. And then Colin, 35, and it was Jay Glaze, 0. It was so bad that Jay Glaze shockingly retired. I did not expect that. Glaze has never even hinted that that could be a possibility. He, too, is just sort of over Madden. I hope he takes a break and then comes back to us because Jay Glaze has literally been here for like 8 years. And I don't know. Quiet fella, super busy, super, not in the chats that much, but just a good human. And I'm going to miss having him here. I hope he stays a part of the community. Lil Koch, 24-14 over Nipples. That was a big time upset in that one. Dwayne with a 27-7 victory over Twinkie. And then the Nicesonger and the Minnesota Vikings upsetting Cincyburg and the Falcons 31-28. Maniac, what do you want to talk about, my brother?
I just want to say quickly, I hate to see those guys leave. Like I said, Jay Glaze, man, I talked to him a couple of times about making a trade, and nothing was, mentioned anything about, having any stuff, but he's been one of my fellow Texas Longhorn fans in the community.
That's right.
So hopefully he's going to stay around and be part of the community nonetheless if he's not a part of Madden. So just looking at all these scores, I mean, a lot of these games are very, very interesting. In fact, you might could call this upset week because there was a lot of the top dogs that got on the losing end that we weren't anticipating. I think the big one, you look at the Rams, Seahawks, D-Money, he had been rolling, and we've been talking about him possibly being one of the guys that's going to go undefeated. Lo and behold, he gets his loss to the Seahawks there. But I think the one I want to look at is the Raiders and Chargers. I think that's the one I want to kind of key in on.
Trey's going to love that when he goes back and watches this.
Give him some poster material. But the Raiders, man, it started out 28 points in the first half on the Chargers. That's impressive. His passing attack has been on point this entire Madden. But now he's starting to figure out the rushing also. And so I just say, look out. The Raiders are for real. He's definitely got a squad built, and he definitely knows how he wants to attack things. The one player pick out of his team to key in on, 5 receptions for Thornton, 4 touchdowns. This guy gets a hold of the ball. It's usually meaning pay dirt for the Raiders. So if you're not covering this guy, you're going to lose. I mean, that's just a simple fact right here. If you're not covering this guy, you're going to lose. That is a big boy, 6'5", 205 pounds, and he can fly like the wind. That's, if there's anybody that's similar to what Megatron from the Lions was back in the day, this guy's kind of fit in that mold. Big receiver, fast, just impressive stats there. And his defense, I played him last season. His defense gets after the ball and makes things difficult for you. And 12 tackles for Walker. That was big for this game. Just looking at kind of some of Trey's stats, you know, we know what Trey wants to do. He wants to run the ball, and he definitely got his stats there. The running back Hampton had 12 attempts, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's over 7 yards a carry. But if you can kind of force him into making some bad throws, you know, sometimes he'll do that. Sometimes, you know, he's I know he's got a young quarterback that he's trying to groom and get going over there. So, you know, that could be a blessing or a cursing to him this season. But I think the big stat there is that wide receiver, pretty much anytime he touches the ball, man, he's going touchdown.
Yeah, that guy's a stud, and he's going to be one of those players that I think we're going to continue to see grow as the season grows, and you're going to get to the end of the season, and this rookie's going to have 90 to 110 catches and 2,200 yards. Receiver numbers are just crazy in Madden. It just is what it is. Let's look at week number 5. By then, all the new owners have moved teams. We had 2 guys move. So Byron moved from the Titans to the Steelers. Randy left his Colts and went and took his favorite team, real life team, the Broncos. And then the 2 new guys came back in. Bill in New York, who was here before, he took over the Colts. And then a brand new owner took over the Tennessee Titans, whose name is slipping me right now. Somebody help me out. Who's the new guy for the Titans? Simple. Thank you. Yes. So Simple took over the Titans. So that all happened as we transition into week number 5. 1 game left. That's going to be Birdman and Twinkie a little later tonight, but we're going to talk about all the ones that are done. Wait a second.
I'm seeing that score too. I'm going, that
can't be real.
Like regular.
All right, somebody tell me what happened in this game, because this can't be real. This might have been because Denbrew left. Denbrew did, like I said, Denbrew is in my city, and so maybe this is a CPU game, and maybe he quit it.
Oh.
And it counted? All right. Yes, I got some homework to do, unless some of you know what happened in that game, because that's not Shocks to quit a game. He might have DC'd and it counted it. I don't know what happened. Maybe some of you know what happened. Anyway, let's go through the rest of these. That one caught my attention. Kevin beats Colin 21-17. Those Bucks are the real deal. Joker bounces back 21-19 in a very close one against Lost Sniper. D. Wayne has started to figure things out after maybe a different style of start that we're used to seeing him start out with. 38-19 over James and the Jets. Bill bounces back 31-6 over Nicesonger. Not sure what happened here. Pretty sure that was a CPU game. Don't know when, where, how. Mr. Rod beats my Saints 38-35 in a absolute mondstorm, but Jaden Daniels was fantastic. Ended up beating me there on the road. Roger and the Texans stay red hot against the new guy, 31-20. I'm going to have to try to remember these PSN names with the real names, but Simple falls in his first game there in Tennessee. Tim bounces back and beats Mr. I want to say Reluctant Pancake, because that's what my screen's saying, but I mean to say Randy. 31-14. Randy's got a little bit of work cut out in front of him, but he'll get that turned around pretty quickly. Zoe bounces back 31-21 over Big Hurt. That's an impressive win. So the Jacksonville Jaguars have been red hot. D-Money bounces back 30-10 over Priest. Bill in New York with his first team or first game with the Indianapolis Colts, 23-21 over Massimo and the Dolphins. Your Cardinals played a great game against Cincy yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah, I think it was yesterday afternoon. 28-24 there. That was a really good game. Sorry, came down to the very end there. Little Koch continues to struggle here in the new season, but Meek Boy stays red hot, 38-14 over the Cleveland Browns. Nipples bounces back 2 games in a row. I wouldn't have guessed that. 49-17 over Trey. And then finally wrapping up here in week number 5. Jay Bowles, 35-14 over Byron and his new team. Those Steelers are also going to need some work. Maybe not as much work as the Titans, but still some work to be done there. Mr. Maniac, what game we want to talk about here in week number 5?
A lot of good games. I'm still flabbergasted by the 2-0 score.
Oh, here's
there.
the example, or here's the reason of what happened. Thank you, Bill. Denbrew played via PlayStation Remote Play, and he lagged out after halftime. When he backed out of the game, it gave Shocks the win. So that's unfortunate because it looked like it's a pretty close game, even on PlayStation Portal. But when he backed out, it went ahead and it gave him the win. So that's unfortunate.
Oh man, that stinks. Yeah, that's yeah. We had some close games here. We had to, nothing against Trey, but I mean he's dropped 2 games back to back there against AFC opponents too as well. So that's going to be rough when the playoff picture comes to possibly come about later on. The Cowboys, we talked about Dwayne. Dwayne's kind of, he's done it by kickoff returns at the end of the game and pick 6 to win, but now it looks like he's kind of getting his footing underneath him with the new settings, and watch out. So Dwayne's back. Game I want to point out though, Bills Patriots 21-19 game. And I did see that Joker posted the Bills finally played defense. So and yes he did, because man, Lost and the Patriots are no slacks on the offensive side of the ball. He puts up points, and so this just starting out to be one of those grind out AFC East matchups between the Bills, Patriots. The Patriots really outgained the Bills by almost 2-1 here. I mean, 396 yards to 224 total yards. 334 passing yards by the Patriots to only 135 for the Bills. But, man, they get it done. Looking at the player stats, May had 2 interceptions. Allen also had 2 interceptions. Allen was sacked twice. Looks like May kept his jersey clean in this game. But both of them had a little bit of a struggle, but they did get a couple of touchdown passes. The rushing game really wasn't here for either one of them. It was enough to keep the balance in the game. But I want to look at the defense and see what happened here. New England actually had the 2 sacks there, Peppers and Aragon. Really nothing that really points to like saying, okay, the Bills dominated this, but he just was able to, at the end of the game there, I mean, looking at the box score, he scored 14 in the second, and the Patriots only scored 9 in the second. So they made better halftime adjustments. Going into halftime, they were down, and he just made the adjustments and got the scores that he needed. I mean, that's just a good game, though. A lot of these guys, so I wish, like, I think this one, they played like kind of late at night, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes I miss out on them, and I really wish I could watch every game, because there tends to be a lot of really good games between these guys in the OMFL. But nonetheless, so it's an AFC East matchup, and these guys always play each other well, and that's where I came from, man, over there last season, and they always make a good matchup.
2 seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, no? Last cycle.
Yeah. Last cycle.
I was like, wait a second, not last season. You've been over.
Words matter.
You've been over in Arizona for a bit. Let's look at some stats really, really fast. We're just going to touch on these quickly. And we're going to talk about some new blood being here in the league. He and I just did this last Sunday. So it's like not a lot has happened in the last few days. I think the biggest thing has been the new blood being the new blood being introduced into the CFM. So we're going to talk about that. Just looking at the numbers really quick. Ian Peters, my goodness. Absolutely superstar. 16 touchdowns, no interceptions. Daniels, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. Stroud, though, helping lead those Texans. 1,600 yards leading the lead, 12 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Running the ball, it's you, man, and your guy Trey Benson, 65 for 695, a 10.7 average. He's got 7 touchdowns already on the season. Tootin right behind him, 84 for 561 and 5. Not far behind him, McMullins, 71, 560 and 7. A lot of running backs starting to get it done here in the OMFL. We talked about inflated numbers from the receivers. Man, look at these. 31 for 795 and 11. 11 touchdowns already for Deontay Thornton Jr. and the Raiders. Just nuts. It doesn't even make a whole lot of sense. McCool right behind him, 28 with 6. Collins, 42 and 7. Moorhead, 26 and 2. So a lot of really, really good wide receivers here in this league. We're not going to look at any blocking because that really never makes any sense. Let's look at some solo tackle leaders. Say that again.
I said it's not sexy.
Nah, I mean, it can be sexy, but trying to figure out who's actually decent in the way that it sorts players is absolutely impossible. It's like they should rank them some way, somehow. Solo tackle leader, Fitzpatrick, Cashman right behind him. I don't even like looking at the tackle leader. I just care about solos. I don't care if you get 400 assists. Who cares? Your tackle for loss leader, Brian Sexton from the Colts. Brown from the Colts. That's pretty impressive. Phillips from the Dolphins. Then your sack leader, Newton. 6 sacks for the big man right up the middle. And the Commanders. Carter also with 5.5. And Culbertson, second-year player for your Arizona Cardinals, has 5.5. And then your interceptions. Woodland is leading the league with 5 there for Seattle. Dean for the Bucks has got 4, and Lenore for the 49ers also has 4. So it's a very quick look at those. We'll look at the return leaders because, well, these are always sexy, man. We got a bunch of guys with several touchdowns already, Maniac.
Holy cow.
2 from Kaufman, 2 from Turpin, and then a bunch of guys with 1 on the kickoff returns, including my guy who broke away 1. And then your punt returns, we already got a couple guys that have those. Hartman for the Bills has 1. Excuse me. And then Hill for the Bucks has 1. He's been an impressive player here early on. I just realized I did all of that without having that scene on. But anyway, you guys get the point. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And Maniac, when we get back, you and I, long-term commissions combined, like 30, 40 years of combined experience commissioning leagues. We're going to talk about the new guys. Where do new guys usually struggle, and what's one piece of advice that we would give them? We'll be back. We gotta do something for our buddy Trey, who you gave a hard time to today. So
Okay.
Turf toe make you miss a kick, pulled hamstring snuff out your tush push, or emotional trauma from a drop pass costing you an OMFL bowl? Here at the Bull Medical Facility, we treat real injuries, the ones you think you got while playing beer league football. Whether you strained your eyes looking for your speed wide receiver, or a muscle cramp slamming on those hit sticks, or even the rare case of chokitis like me, we've got you covered. Bull Medical Facility, pro care for your not so pro pain. Just ask for Dr. Vikes MD.
I love it. Thank you, Trey, for getting that done for us. Let's talk about the new guys. 2 brand new guys coming into the league. One in Bill, who's been here before. He had to retire, I think, fairly quickly after joining us, but stayed on the waiting list for this entire cycle, got his team. I can't wait. I say that. I always say that with a grain of salt. There are some really good guys that I think will be great for the league if they get an opportunity, but that just means that somebody's got to leave, and I never want anybody to leave. And then a brand new guy in Simple, who I think has played in the Deuce or connected to the NBCI. He's in the community some way, somehow. We added 2 brand new guys. Again, Bill's been here before, but you and I over the years have seen where new guys struggle, and I get it. And I feel like I'm pretty patient in helping create a space where guys can sort of get their feet wet and sort of, slowly get appropriated to the league and understand like how we play, how we approach the game. Because I do believe there are like a bunch of unwritten rules, and depending on who you're playing, you may have a different set of unwritten rules. And sometimes somebody says something, sometimes they don't. I want to talk about where you see owners struggle the most. For me, it always is on the defensive side of the game of really mixing up play calls. I think that's just where people struggle. I think you and I have talked over the years of Press Pass Live, there are sort of 2 types of individuals. There are those that play this as a game, as a video game, as a simulated NFL video game that you can figure out what works, what doesn't work, how to break it, how to glitch it. I have my own sort of feelings about YouTubers, but I watched one today. Not a game changer because I don't know what they call them anymore, but like, yeah, look, anyway, why am I beating around the bush here? You all watch him. He's here local. You can go see him. You probably watched his video this morning, but his very first 20 minutes of his video, it wasn't that long, it was like 5 minutes, but the very first thing is showing you how to glitch speed a player. So there's that player,
Lord.
right? And then there's us who played this game and approach this game very differently. And so trying to help people understand that we are not trying to simulate what you see on Sundays, because none of us are NFL players or coaches, and none of us do this full time. And we're not trying to play this like the video game that it is, because then we just go play Mutt and we can all play the same and play online and it's no big deal. We try to do something very different, which is what I think the NFL does with their rules and how they set up their systems of fair play even. Like, the Cleveland Browns will think that they can go on a run next season. The Jets their fan base will think that they can go on a run next season because there's the freshness of new free agents and rules and like all this thing that make every fan base think that this could be their team's year. We try to do the same here. How can the Nates compete with the D-Moneys, the D-Waynes, the Rods, the Treys? Like, how do we do that? And we do that with our fair play rules, which rule number 1 is super simple and covers up all the little minute things I'm not going to make a 55-page law book about, and that is just mix up your play call. Just don't do the same thing all the time. And that could be calling the same blitz 4 times in a row. Could be stacking the box the whole game. It could be setting and forgetting your safety depth as all the way up into the box at close. Like, these are those things that you're not supposed to do all game long. And again, we're not going to go through every single possible thing that you could do.
Right.
We'd have a 75-page rule book that no one could ever read or understand. So for me, new players struggle with, on defense, mixing it up, not blitzing too much. Zone is always a problem. I find this Madden 8 in the box has been a problem. And what I've seen new players struggle with the most is, even in the deuce, in my experiences, it's been, I'm going to play zone, I'm going to put 8 in the box, and I'm going to use the safety. So I'm basically shutting everything down unless your line gives you 5 seconds to throw the ball, and then you're going to complete something. But outside of that, I can play the safety. I can crash down on a run. I've already got 8 in the box, so I'm forcing you to pass the ball. If I force you to pass the ball, I'm going to play heavy zone. I'm going to get interceptions. I'm going to get the ball back. And it's just been a big struggle in this league, and it looks a little different every cycle, but that's what it looks like this cycle. What about you? What's one of the biggest things, whether it's here in Madden or whether it is in the deuce, that you've seen new owners struggle with?
I mean, I had to say 100%. I agree with everything you said on that part. I look at it too, though. Like, I think a lot of guys, when they read the rules, I think one of the mistakes new guys come in, they read the rules and they already have a kind of a concept of what they think things should be done or how things should be played, and they read the rules, and sometimes they just kind of like, oh yeah, I get it, and I think sometimes it gets them behind the 8 ball a lot of times, because they'll go into a game, they'll play, and they say, I kind of thought it meant this, no, if you have any question, you need to ask, because like we've always said, and even when I first came here, 8, 9, 10 years ago, I don't know, I've been here for a long time now.
Feels like a long time, yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I read the rules, I thought, I understood it, I had my idea, and then lo and behold, I played, see, who was it? I think it was the first person I played was Huday. I think he was part of the board at that time. And man, he's all like, bro, you got to clean this up. Like, you're not going to be around here much longer. I was like, what? What are you talking about? I thought,
It's funny. I don't remember it being that bad.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Because, I came out of I was recently in the game changers, you know, real competitive, playing online, and you know, but also wanted more structure in leagues. And a lot of guys, that's what they're looking for when they're coming from these places playing online. You know, I want a structured place to play. You know, in a league, and so when they come in, you know, again, you have this mentality like, you know, well, I read the rules and I understand it. You know, I have my concept of what this is meaning, and then on behold, like, you know, you start talking about, you know, like, well, you can't, you know, you shouldn't be running blitzes all the time. You can't stack the ball. You can't run zone. What do you mean? You know, my strength of my team is, you know, kind of this, you know, so sometimes it takes guys a little bit longer to catch on the concept of that. So, and I was one of them. It took me a couple games, but I figured it out. I was like, you know, I like these rules. I like the no switch um, mentality on the offensive side because, you know, guys online could just switch and run their wide receiver all over the place and get open. You know,
I
it
was
was
watching
so
a video
stupid.
this week. That still happens. Like the switch, pull the player back, jump, rocket jump. It's just like, who likes playing
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah. It's ridiculous, you know. So, um, but you know, those concepts, I think a lot of times guys struggle with when they first come in,
Yeah.
and I think being a commission, part of a leadership group that's a part of the community, when guys come in, like, you have to be try to be patient and understand that they're understanding a full new concept,
Yeah.
and they're having to break things down that they've all known or what they think they know about, you know, a league and stuff, and you kind of have to embrace what's here and accept it full heartedly, you know,
And
even
some
though, you
guys
know, like you
are not
may
patient either.
no, and I've had that struggle in the past, and I've tried to get better at that, especially being in leadership and stuff. You know, when new guys come in, uh, not just, you know, coming down on them hard and like, oh, the like, I'm out of here, you know, because there's been some really good guys in the past that
Yeah.
came through here that couldn't get it. I mean, great human beings, you know, guys that could have contributed to, you know, the league and the entire community greatly. They just left because they couldn't get it.
We had one
They didn't want to get it.
recently. We had a new guy that like he seemed awesome. Like he was going to make like just he seemed great. But at least he was open and honest. He's like, brother, I can't get this no switch thing. He's like, I understand the concept. It seems really cool. I just can't get it. And unfortunately, he left the whole server because I was trying to get him. I was like, just hang out. You'll find other groups here, whatever. But it's like that's why
Yeah.
we have the system that we have set up. Is like guys try it, and it's not going to be for everybody.
Yeah, and that patient part has to come from both sides too, like
Yeah.
us as leadership, and then also the person that's trying to learn the new concept of the type of league that we're running here. It's a lot different than most leagues you find just straddle out across the online world. Um, I think that, to me, that's like one of the major ones.
Yeah.
The other one is just the simple fact that um, when you look at guys, how you respond to things too, I think that can be something. I mean, maybe this falls kind of in the same line, but um, I've been guilty of this before. Uh, the the online, you know, chat, you know, things that, you know, especially like when, if there's a dispute with a rule,
Mhm.
or not, you know, in the gameplay or whatever. Sometimes guys take it wrong in a chat world and stuff, and I've been there. I've done it, been on both sides of it. You know, said something that I really didn't mean, but it came out wrong, and it didn't end well. And you know, so but I think that's another thing that guys will tend to struggle with, especially when you get 32, or I don't know. I mean, if you take the entire community here, there's a lot of people that some of them that we don't see a whole lot of because, you know, they're shooters and different things. But you know, like with the college, going from playing from a college dynasty, you know, and then going and playing in Madden, you know, there may be a few things different because they're two different games. So
Yeah.
you know, just the communication, I think, too, can always be an issue. Um, but I do enjoy playing here. This has been one of the best spot that I've found. my time when I was searching for leagues, I went through so many Facebook leagues. I went through so many. Uh, what was that? Not what was it? WhatsApp or
No,
what was that?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head. It's where we were before Discord.
Yeah, I can't think of it either, but you know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
I went through so many of those trying to search and find a place to play that I can enjoy and build relationships and friendships with and stuff, and also play competitive games against guys that you like, for the majority part. So,
Yeah, I would add.
but
You said sometimes people get it wrong. I must say sometimes, few times they actually get it right. They actually understand what the other person's saying, and people handle it. 99% of the time, people will take it wrong or get it wrong when we're communicating
yeah,
via text.
yeah,
It's just the human nature and the fact that even somebody like me who does go out of his way to try to get to know the humans and get to know people personally, we still really don't know each other. And listen, I have been married. It'll be 27 years this year. No, married 23 years. It'll be 24 years this year. Together 26. That's what it is. And I still get on her nerves. And she still gets on my nerves. And I love this woman.
right.
She is my soulmate. She's my best. She's everything. She's my better. She's all that stuff. I've built a life with this woman. I can't. I'm setting that up to say Maniac has had his moments with me, and I've had my moments with him, and I've done it with Dwayne. Dwayne and I have had so many uncomfortable, ugly conversations that ended really negative, and I end up apologizing. Birdman knows that I've been an a-hole. Like, we just have bad days sometimes, and we're not at our optimal best, and we don't present the best version of ourselves, and we get frustrated. But I'm glad that Maniac found us, and I'd want him to play nowhere else. And I feel like that for everybody that plays here. There's a few guys that, like, if you decided to leave, I won't shed too many tears, but I think as a general rule, I really enjoy the group that we have here. I think they're good humans. I can't wait to meet Denbrew here in another 24 hours. Maniac, let's give some advice. I'm going to let you take this one first. We got Bill in New York taking over the Colts, a Super Bowl team, the champion, the current champion. They're sitting at 4-1. They were 4-0 when he took them over. And then got our new guy, Simple. I was like, I lost it for a second there, but it came back. We got our new guy, Simple, who's taken over the Titans that are sitting at 0-4 when he took them over. What piece of advice would you give these guys as they're trying to find their way here in the OMFL?
Yeah, especially for I'll address the Colt situation and then Simple, because Bill's been here before, so he kind of understands the process. And but like with the Colts, I mean, taking over a team that just won the OMFL Bowl, that's in itself can kind of be intimidating, I guess, because like, well, this team is built to win, and if I don't win with this team, kind of makes you feel like I'm a loser, kind of that. But again, you have to realize too, like, styles. I've come to realize in playing games and building teams, I have a certain style. And if the guys I have on my team does not fit my style, and sometimes you may, and when the games change, like different games from Madden 25 to 26, so on and so on, your style may change a little bit because of just the type of game that's made. But like, you have to try to figure out what my style is, and then you have to build your team to that strength. Because if not, if you build it to just like, well, D Money's doing this, I'm going to build it just like D Money, you're going to get yourself in trouble. Because, yeah, you may be able to take some concepts from how he builds his team, just go out and get a ton of 99 overall cornerbacks, but as a whole, you have to build your team that fits your strengths and the way you play. If not, you'll be chasing your tail the entire cycle, and you'll never have the success that you feel like you could probably have if you had a team built to your style. And so I think that would be the process with the Colts. Stepping into the Colts, they are very solid, but if they're not built to your style, start molding them now because you got the pieces. There's pieces there that you could trade to guys, and get the things that you need to possibly get the draft capital or maybe the player capital or whatever that you could get that fits your mold and go from there. But now, like with something with actually Simple, how he got connected to the community was he was watching my stream as we were playing NHL
That's
clubs,
right.
and so he joined through that medium, and so
He's a
they
young
would play
man, right?
clubs. So what now?
He's like a young man in college or something, right?
Yeah, he's in college. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think he's like 21, 22, something like that. So
46-year-olds can call those young men.
that's right. This boys. But like with him coming in, this is his first,
Right.
actual major league. He played in the Deuce, and he's only been over there a season and a half now in the Deuce, and he's done well. He's done what he asked of. He's always asked about the rules and stuff, and I think he's done a great job. And so he'll do a great job here. But stepping in, to a new group of guys, because he's not been a part of the OMFL group before, and a lot of these guys are very new to him. Simple is just a great overall dude, and he and he'll do well. But stepping in, I'm trying to think back to whenever I did like first come here and stuff. Like, I was competitive, and I wanted to show everybody, hey, look, I'm a competitive Madden gamer here, and whatever. You gotta throw that out the window. You're here to start building a team and being a part of a community. And then once you get that aspect down, then you can start being competitive, I think. Because I think there's a process to that. And so if you get the steps out of line, one, you're gonna find yourself probably always in trouble, and then you're gonna create some enemies that could probably be not created if you'd actually taken those steps and like, hey, look, I'm here to start building. I want to learn the process of how to play the game according to these rules, how these guys play, because all these guys that are in this league, 90% of them have been here several seasons. They're playing here because, hey, they've gotten the rules, and maybe still some of them struggle with some of them, but for the majority, they have actually really accepted that, and they've conformed to that, and then they play that way, and they enjoy it. And the guys that are around them, they play the same way, and they enjoy it. So, and then there's that competitive that grows out of that. So, anyway, I know I'm being long-winded, but
I think I completely agree. I think in life, I just think in life, I'm having a lot of commentary in my own head today. I find myself pausing a lot. First, Mr. Z in the chat says, I'm honing that no switch online in head-to-head is miserable competition as there is. Working on it in the NBC as well. Repetition works to retain the inclination to switch. Absolutely. And those are some big words. I'm going to have to look those up a little later, find out what they mean. But I'm just joking.
It's like he's got a PhD.
He's a pretty smart guy. It's funny, when we played our test game, his mic was on. It was funny just to hear him talk. Really nice guy. Came off as a nice guy. I mean, we don't know each other from the paint on the wall, but he seems like a really great guy. I think he'll fit in just great around here. Anyway, I believe that in life you get grace growers. You get these individuals that sort of cause you to look at your own character and humanity and go, okay, that's a weak area that I need to get better at. I had an experience in the last couple of weeks, but here in the last week, one of them happened in the Deuce not long ago. So I have 2 stream decks, and because of that, I'm able to track my play calls and the defensive play calls against me, and vice versa, the offensive play calls and my defensive play calls against them. And it's done for me. It's done because we used to have a thing called Coach's Glass. We don't have that anymore. So it's like my very elementary way of seeing themes or going, oh, crap, I ain't ran the ball enough this game. Or, oh, man, I haven't ran enough blitzes this game. Or, oh man, I'm not attacking him enough, whatever. It's just for me to pick up on tendencies. And I happen to be able to see if the other guy has tendencies one way or the other, and how can I combat that anyway. I also will use those because I'm a commissioner to give feedback if somebody is way off one way or the other, to say, hey, here's the numbers, you got to work on this and whatnot. And I had somebody in the dues tell me to basically get a life. And I was like, well, I have one, but thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that. And then this week, I got some feedback about my streams that just made me go, okay, that's just an area of growth. And so that's leading into my advice for our new guys, and that is, jump in head first. Like, you get out of this what you put into this. And so being involved in the chats, being involved in creating content, getting to know other owners, finding other ways outside of maybe Madden or NCAA to maybe play some other games with guys, or even jump in and start to lead some of these other groups that we have here, is I think the best way to get the most out of this community in this league. Ultimately, people respond better to people that they like, and people like people that they actually know. And I think what happens in this community, and probably in a bunch of communities often, is that people actually just don't know each other. And so they have their version of the other person, which is usually not even where near what the real person is. And they just don't like that person. And then we get these like fake rivalries that get created. And I'm not playing them no more. Or every time I play them, I'm going to pick them apart. And it's just like, I am someone who takes this very seriously. I'm an adult man who has a full-time job, a family, and pastors, and I'm making video game football online content right now with my buddy. That's how big of a nerd I am and how serious I take this. And with that said, I don't take it that serious. Like, these are not evil people. Maybe there's somebody that wouldn't be your cup of tea on the other side of the screen, but just move on with your life. Like, let's not take it that serious. So my biggest piece of advice to our new guys, even Bill, who's coming back, jump in, man. Let us know who you are, your personality, jump into the content that we have here, jump into the chats. Like, there's so many ways to get involved. I suggest just jumping head first. All right, we got to land this plane really quick. We got one more question to unpack with our buddy, Mr. Maniac. And because Denver's in my town, let's go to his commercial.
Does your games against Cincyberg and Kobe have you crying into your console? Are you this freaking close to having an all-time OMFL meltdown? Is your team playing like they're being controlled by your drunk uncle? Well, don't rage quit just yet. Hold in that R2 button and sprint on over to Denbrew's Parts Shack, the only place to rebuild your busted Madden roster. Your team is a dumpster fire, but I have the parts to turn those digital duds into gridiron gods. We have receivers that run faster than Caitlyn Jenner ran away from his first family. Call now or you can kiss your OMFL glory goodbye.
You can kiss it goodbye, he said. All right, here's the question that we're presenting to you today, and I'm going to bring it over here as we talk about this one. Do you think that we are going to have any undefeated teams this season? We've only got 2 left. We technically had 3, but we've only got 2 left. We got Commanders at 5-0, Raiders at 5-0. Colts were in that conversation at 4-0. The Rams were in that conversation to this week till 4-0. So do you think Commanders, Raiders, do either of these teams make it all the way undefeated?
No. I think Dwayne's probably going to get one of these games. He's going to play against the Commanders. They have too many close battles. And then the Raiders, which I will say he's impressed me quite a bit so far. But I think the type of teams that he's got to play over there in the West. Now he's got Randy to contend with. He's probably going to lose at least one. One of these guys are going to lose. Both these guys are going to lose at least one. Now, if they go undefeated, I will be shocked. I will be completely shocked, and it could happen. But my pick was the Rams, and he already let me down. So,
Commanders, I think, could do it. I've always said this. It's very, very difficult to go undefeated here. Now it's happened. We've been around for 25 years, so it clearly has happened. But I think it's really, really difficult to happen. Commanders have the best shot. That's probably not being fair to my guy, Jay Biles. His quarterback, 16 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. And and he's scored more points than the Commanders and seems to have a red hot team. I don't think either one of them do it. I think they're going to lose at least 2 to 3 games. That's usually what we see is like a 2-game, 1 game sometimes, but usually 2 games. It's going to be fun, though, to see how this sort of plays out, especially with the shift in power and the new guys that have come in, which you and I can talk a little bit more about next week once these new guys get their feet kind of more wet of like, does it change, the shift of power? I mean, your champion Colts lost their owner, but that team is still really, really good. It was funny. The CPU re-signed his quarterback Richardson, and he made me reset that contract. I was like, you're going to let that guy walk? Because if the Broncos get their hands on Richardson, that's really bad news for the OMFL. He's going to have that Bronco team turned around pretty quickly, but I don't see him giving up on his real-life quarterback at all. So, yeah, it's going to be funny to see how this plays out, but I don't think that we have any undefeated teams to get through the rest of this season. All right, Maniac, let's put a bow on this show. You got to hit the road here pretty soon, and I'm going to have a wife showing up with a toddler to take to dinner. So give me some closing thoughts as we wrap up Press Pass Live back on a Friday. Hopefully we can keep this thing going.
Freaky Friday. So it's very interesting to see how things unfold with the new guys coming in, and then also I'm curious to see. I mean, it's always the thing, like when an owner is like a defending champion and he moves, he got the chance to get his favorite team. Cannot knock that whatsoever. I mean, if you got it, and you really, I've had that opportunity. I don't want the Cowboys no more. I can't deal with my team in real life being bad and then me making them bad also. I just can't deal with it. So, but he took the opportunity. He wanted to play with his favorite team, and so you got to take it when that opportunity comes about. I'm interested to see how he is able to turn that team around, because there's some good parts of that team, and there's also some bad parts that he's going to have to build and get righted over there. But I think just the intrigue of the new guys coming in, Bill in New York, like I said, he's got a ready-made team to compete. So if he can maintain over there in the AFC South, he may be able to make some noise in the playoffs. If we get to that point. So just a lot of things to unfold as the season progresses. And I will give a shout out to the guys. There's a lot of guys making some great content.
I got to catch up on mine.
Yeah, great written articles, good pictures. Submit those pictures to the photo of the year. Just not all the team celebrations at the end, but
I hate the AI ones. I get it. I just hate it. I'm like, y'all learn a skill. Go learn a skill. Learn how to be a graphic artist. Load up some software and go make your own video. Stop making ChatGPT make that stuff for you.
That's right.
Well, let's put a bow on it, Maniac. Thank you so much for making time for me before we had to get out of here with your family. Thank you guys for checking out. But I had a stroke there. I got it back, though. I'm here. No baby aspirin needed. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us here as we get rolling. Back on Fridays. That's hopefully the goal. We'll put these things back on Friday afternoons and knock these out really quickly. I know that I've moved the show around a bunch trying to find the perfect spot. And even though the league voted that Monday afternoons were not good, that's where we get the most viewership and the most chats. It's so funny. It's like, I don't know what the deal is. We're gonna hang out on Friday afternoons though here for a while. Bill, I appreciate you. Zoe, appreciate you. Thanks everybody for checking us out. Make sure you hit the like button down below. Thank you, Maniac, for making time. Safe travels with those babies back to college. Guys, we'll see you on the next one. Okay. Peace.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Smash that like and subscribe.